Welcome to Whippoorwill Holler. I'm Miss Lori and this is Mr. Brown. We live in the hills of Arkansas. We love the Lord. Keepers of the old ways, but accept some of the new. We love to cook and we love to eat. We love to garden. It's in our blood. It's how we stay sustainable and fill our pantry. We do a lot of canning and preserving. We live a sustainable life. We love our family. We work hard. And every once in a while, we like to dance. So y'all join us. We're going to be making some gumbo, which is one of mine, Mr. Brown's favorite. Now this ain't your regular, authentic Cajun gumbo, so we can't go there with it. But this is our version. What do you call it, Mr. Brown?
Hillbilly gumbo.
Hillbilly gumbo. This is just the way we like it. I grew up eating gumbo. I don't think Danny did much. I don't think he ate it till he actually met me.
I didn't eat a lot of shrimp. There wasn't many shrimp in the hills.
No. And, of course, the gumbo I ate was Texas gumbo. And it's a little bit different than Louisiana gumbo. And it just depends on your family, what's handed down, and how y'all like your gumbo. Ours was simple with no tomatoes. We always put a little bit of shrimp in it, but we're not going to today. One thing, me and Danny can't hardly stomach shrimp anymore. It just don't really sit with us, even though we do like it.
I still like good quality shrimp, occasionally.
But in the gumbo, we're okay today. In fact, you can make a gumbo probably what you've got in your pantry, and that's what I'm doing. Now, in my pan here, it's a very heavy Dutch oven pan, and I've got a half a cup of butter.
Gonna make that roux.
And I've got a half of a cup of all-purpose flour.
Y'all, she make good roux.
And it's usually 1-to-1 ratio when you're making a roux. And I know there's gonna be people argue with me, but it's just, I always say to cook things to your taste. And just how you like it. Now you can do this with butter, or you can do it with a lot of times if I've got a little bit of peanut oil, I like to do it peanut oil. You can do it with a half a cup of bacon grease. That's really good too. But I want to do mine with butter today. So we've got our stick of butter and a half a cup of all-purpose flour, and I've got my pan on low heat. And this process is going to take, this is what takes the longest in making gumbo. And this is probably our favorite part of gumbo, is the roux. Isn't it your favorite?
Oh, you make good roux.
The taste. I like a lot of that roux taste in my gumbo. So the ratio that I like to my gumbo is the half a cup to about 6 cups of broth. You can use chicken broth, you can use beef broth, you can use vegetable broth, whichever you prefer, because it'll all work. Sometimes I use chicken, sometimes I use beef. But what you want to do is you want to stand here and keep an eye on this now, because it's going to take about, you want to keep stirring it on low heat. And you want to make sure that your pan's a heavy-duty pan on bottom. You don't want it to be a lightweight pan, because your roux will end up scorching and burning. I may have to turn this down a little bit more. But I'll be cooking this probably 20-30 minutes. And I'll come back to you and show you as it cooks the colors, what it's going to turn to. And you know, I was always told growing up, and I can tell you, my Texas family makes some of the best gumbo. My cousin Julie makes really good gumbo. All of them do. And Danny likes the way I make mine. Like I said, it's very simple. But my grandma, who was just an old-fashioned cook, she made really, really good gumbo, y'all. And she can make the best roux. So I just grew up loving that roux taste to the gumbo. She never added tomatoes to it. Some people do. And if you like tomatoes in your gumbo, now if I'm eating jambalaya, yeah, I like tomatoes in it. But mainly what mine's going to have in it, and I'm going to stand here and I'm going to keep stirring this, is I've got my okra back here. This was about a little over a cup of okra that I took out of the freezer, and it was slimy. So what I do is I stick my okra in a pan with about 2 tablespoons of just plain white vinegar, and you just let that saute for about 3 to 4 minutes, and it takes that slime out of your okra. Now Danny likes the slime. I don't, but we're going to compromise today, and I'm not going to have no slimy okra. So that's just a good tip. And you could even do this and throw you some tomatoes in there and have tomatoes and okra. A little bit of onions. So over here I've got, and this is pretty much what my gumbo is going to be, is I got some of Danny's jalapenos cut up here. That's just one.
Mild jalapeno.
Yes. I've got some little bit of Cajun seasoning, some bay leaves. Now the one thing I don't use is fili powder because I just don't care for the taste, but that's up to you. You can put a teaspoon of it, of fili powder. This is a bell pepper. I've got some kielbasa. Got a big tablespoon of minced garlic. Mirepoix. I've got my celery and onions. I've got some chopped up leftover chicken. And then I've got a little bit of beef broth right here. And then my okra. And that's just our main ingredients for our gumbo. Plus a big old thing of rice that you put in it once you get it boiled up. So you can see this is already kind of turning a beige color. But by the time I get this done, it's going to be close to a peanut butter color. Growing up, my grandma said you needed to get it about the color of a penny, should say. An old, wore out penny. Get about that color, or peanut butter. I really like my roux pretty dark, and I've seen people get it chocolate dark too. I'm always afraid I'm going to scorch mine, so I always stand here and just keep stirring it. And it depends on what region you're from, what state you're from, nationality, how you make your gumbos.
That's just about the color I get my white gravy.
Your white gravy, yeah.
I get it just about that color when I go to pouring milk.
And growing up too, we made a roux gravy that we would just eat on top of rice. Like we'd fry up some pork chops, and I've done this for you before, and I'd get that flour just dark as I do, make that gravy really, really brown, and it's a roux gravy, and we put that over rice and ate it with our pork chops. It wasn't gumbo, it was just really brown roux gravy. Something I like to do too. So then you gotta be patient with this though. Just be patient with it, keep stirring it, and then we'll come back and I'll show you our next step. And then once we get our gumbo done, Mr. Brown's gonna make us some old-fashioned cornbread sticks. Y'all remember those? Ugh. They're so good. My grandma, I remember her making these, and I absolutely loved them. And I haven't made them in years. I made them when the kids were home. And I only have one of these left, so we'll probably have to do a couple batches. But they're going to be really good. It's going to be good with this gumbo too. So Mr. Brown will be back, and he'll be making y'all some cornbread sticks. Danny's overseeing the roux. And it's been cooking about 10 minutes.
At least.
And it's
Looks like peanut butter right now.
The color of peanut butter.
What I've done, you can see how clean that bottom is. I've kept everything with this wooden square. I've worked every once in a while, I just work it and get all that off that bottom.
All that goodness.
All the goodness, and it helps keep your heat, keeps it from building up, and keeps your heat more even on everything.
But I'm wanting my roux just a little bit darker than that. So we're going to try to go another 10 minutes. But once you get your roux done, I mean, and just get all your ingredients in there, and then you're going to want to simmer it for a little while, but it's worth it.
All good things require patience.
Yeah. So we got all the ingredients going here. We're just ready to whip it all together. Get them corn sticks cooked too. They're gonna be good. So what are y'all eating for supper tonight? Okay, Danny's got this roux about where it needs to be. And you see the color of that. We say a copper penny peanut butter.
It's a dark peanut butter.
That's a dark peanut butter there, maybe with a little chocolate in it. But you can smell it. I mean, when you know that roux's done, when you can smell it, you know the smell of a good roux. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add our other ingredients. Now that we got our roux the color we want it. We're just going to add that's about 3 stalks of diced up celery and a medium onion. And then we need our bell peppers and our jalapeños. And that's one bell pepper, and that's just one jalapeno. You can put more jalapenos if you want to. And you don't have to put any at all.
Boy, it smells amazing.
And if I can get it, we're going to go ahead and put our kielbasa in. When they turn, it's on low, I'm pretty sure. And
That's on low.
yeah, it'll be dry. So you'll just cook that just like that till your onions and celery gets a little bit tender. And then we'll come back and add our garlic and our broth and some of our seasoning. And then we'll be, we won't put the okra in yet. That's one of the things we'll put in last. So this is going to cook just a little while just to tender up the onion and celery and bell pepper. And it's smelling pretty good in here, ain't it, Paul?
It smells really good.
I'm getting pretty hungry. We ain't really sat down and ate much today, have we?
No, I've been busy working on your table.
He's been doing honeydews today. Here, I'll show y'all. It ain't done. It's done, but we haven't stained the bottom of it. We got to wait just a little while to do that.
Let the lumber dry a little.
But he took the farm table that I've been using here, and we needed to lift it up. It was just too short for me, and I needed a shelf underneath to put all my my enamel pans and stuff. So he just finished this a while ago, but we will be staining it to match the rest of the.
I think I raised it 5.5 inches.
5.5 inches, y'all. But it's a good, what is it, 30?
Just under 35 inches.
Just under 35 inches, which is good for me. I don't have to bend, excuse me, I don't have to bend over as much, and it's just easier to work with a tall workspace when you're not bent over all the time. So he just took a couple of, was that 6x6s?
Yeah, it's what we had left over from the deck.
And cut them to fit. And then he just took some of the decking we had and made a bottom shelf. So now it's up there where it needs to be, and I got my shelf to put some of my stuff on. And it should work better. Okay, that's been cooking just a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and put this big tablespoon of minced garlic.
Boy, that raised the smell.
It always does. Good stuff.
Got it on low heat.
Low heat.
So we got some of that Justin Wilson. A little bit of this Cajun seasoning. It's a milder seasoning. It's not real hot. It's got a little heat to it. We're gonna put some in here. I don't want to put too. I like a little more heat than my wife does. Turn her back. I'll throw a little more in there.
Okay, now that we've let this cook down a little bit and things are getting a little bit tender, we're gonna go ahead and put our beef stock in here. And this is about 6 cups, but we're just gonna put a little bit at a time. I know this looks like chicken stock, but it is beef. It's just real light beef stock.
We put a little bit of chicken collagen we had.
Yeah, I had a little bit of that chicken collagen where I baked that chicken up the other night. I stuck it in there too. Ooh, that looks good.
Look at that pretty roux.
Look at that pretty roux.
It's smelling good too, let me tell you.
Put you just a little bit more. Because we'll let this simmer. Now, we're gonna stick with that, but we're gonna keep this out. And let's see, the pepper's over there. I really don't want to put no more salt in it until, you know, it heats up and we taste it. A little bit of black pepper maybe. I don't know if you want any more pepper in it or not.
I do.
And like I said, we're not putting any filet powder in it. So, and he's already got the Cajun season. Good night. You want me to eat this stuff or not?
Turn your head off, put a little more.
And we're going to throw a couple of bay leaves in it. And then we've got some leftover chicken back here from our baked chicken. So, like I said, this is a pantry meal. And then, of course, our okra's back here that'll go in it, too. So, that's quite a bit of chicken. We're going to put it all in there with that.
We like meat, don't we?
Yeah, we like meat.
I do.
And this will be good leftovers tomorrow, too.
I don't know. I might eat all that hungry up here.
We might have to invite somebody over. You know, you either like gumbo or you don't.
I was telling my cousin a while ago we was making gumbo, and I could tell he was salivating.
He's probably like, why didn't they invite? Randy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Why don't y'all invite me over?
I'll say something, Dean, bring you some Wednesday. So we got our chicken in there now. So all we like is, we're going to go ahead and put the okra in there. I don't care.
His wife's not a big shrimp eater either, so she'd probably really like this also.
Well, now, used to, we always put shrimp in it. But like I said, Danny and I have had to cut back on the shrimp. I don't know if it's...
It's just the flavor for me.
Well, it's the iodine for me. It absolutely just kills my stomach.
Now, I like good quality fresh shrimp. Shrimp. I like it, but...
and we like a lot of okra, too. So, this is it. This is our gumbo. This is the way we make it, how we like it, minus the shrimp. And, of course, I've got a pot of rice cooked. But we'll put the lid on this, and we're just going to let it simmer for probably about 45 minutes. And while it's simmering, Paul's going to make us them old-fashioned cornbread sticks.
Some of that cornbread.
Cornbread sticks, like Grandma used to make. I can't wait. Paul's going to make us some cornbread to go with our gumbo.
Good old cornbread. We're going to put our dry ingredients in first. We got a half cup of flour. We got a cup of cornmeal. We got, I done forgot how much salt's in there.
2 tablespoons.
I mean sugar. 2 tablespoons of sugar.
Now, disclaimer, Most of the time, when we're making cornbread, we don't put sugar in it.
I know.
But we're going to for the sticks.
I told him I didn't know what it was. So
We
what's
are
that,
because
sugar?
that's the way we always made them, especially for the kids.
Okay, we got 3/4 tablespoon of salt.
It's a teaspoon. 3/4 teaspoon of salt. I'll have the recipe down below, y'all.
And 1 teaspoon of baking powder. 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda.
And 3/4 teaspoon of salt.
I'm glad you remembered that. We're going to put her in there. That's all your dry in there.
That's all you dry.
I'm going to stir it up just a little bit. Just mix it up a little before we put our wet in there. Alright.
1 egg.
1 hen apple.
3 tablespoons of oil. You can use bacon grease, and that looks green because it's grapeseed oil.
Grapeseed oil. That's what I was supposed to say. What is that kind of oil is that?
That's what I use most of the time anymore.
And we're going to put, not all this milk yet. We're going to put about a little over half of it in there and see what it looks like.
That's a buttermilk.
Buttermilk.
Buttermilk. I use grapeseed oil, olive oil, and avocado oil. Now, I used to use peanut oil quite a bit, especially in frying, but we don't fry a lot up anymore. So, grapeseed oil you can use for frying or sauteing. It's a good one. It's a neutral oil, and we use fresh lard.
Oh,
Woo!
I just made a mess. I don't know how I do that.
You ain't cooking if you ain't making a mess, Paul.
I don't know how I do that. I got me a big tall bowl and I still slapped it outside.
Now y'all can double this recipe, but
Now you can make your pan of cornbread, but the reason that we're doing these corn sticks is I love brown crunchy cornbread. And we're planning on just getting them corn sticks just a little bit browner.
yeah, we gotta get that in the oven, Paul. He took some lard and he really greased it down, y'all. You really have to grease that thing down or your corn sticks will
Took
stick.
some of that home rendered lard and really greased it down. We don't want it to stick.
So Paul, turn around there and stick that in the oven before we forget. Because it's gotta get hot, just like when you're making regular cornbread in a cast iron skillet. And we're gonna be cooking it in the vintage gas cook stove. Are you gonna add you some jalapenos?
Yes, I am. But
Now-
see, well, you wasn't supposed to know that.
Oh. Now this is not the way that I always made it, but the kids aren't here, grandkids ain't here, so
And this is mild jalapeno.
you could even put your little cheddar cheese in there if you wanted to.
Cut that jalapeno up and see, you wasn't supposed to know about it.
I think I'd have known about it.
You think you're going to be saying, what's that green in that cornbread, ain't you?
That looks good and start up.
It looks just right.
We'll let it sit there for just a minute and let our
Look at that.
let our corn stick pan get
I can
hot.
make more mess than 20 kids.
No, no, you can't make a bigger mess than I can. And everybody's watched me cook knows that for sure. So the gumbo's back there. I can hear it. Probably need to turn it down just a little bit. And let us get the pan hot, and then we'll start dipping our batter up in there. Okay, it's been simmering just a little while, but look at that. It's already thickened up a little bit. Look at that color. The smell is unreal.
She was before I started, she was a simmering.
She was a simmering, yeah. Looking good, smelling good.
Lucky person gets the bay leaf. We don't find them.
Yeah. Sometimes
It's usually me.
Sometimes I forget to dig them out. But believe me, Mr. Brown will find them every time.
Every time. If there's a bone in the chicken, if there's anything
There's
in there.
always bones in a chicken.
Well, not when you debone it.
Are you talking about my dumplings?
Yes.
Oh.
If there's a little bone in there, I'm gonna find it.
Well, that's just a surprise. You get the prize every time. Chicken, chicken, winner, winner, chicken dinner. I can hear the sizzle. You know, you can find these cornstick pans, even some of the older ones.
Putting just a little bit too much in there, ain't I?
That's fine. Yeah, don't overdo it. But you can find them at flea markets. Yeah, that one, that one's running together. It'll be okay.
That'll be that crunchy part, won't it?
But they want an arm and leg for them. I'm thinking you can buy a brand new one for that, but. And I did. I bought this one brand new. Now I had an old one, a real old one, and I don't know what happened to it. All the moves that we done because I had it back at the farmhouse raising the kids because I would make them cornbread sticks. But you know, it's been years since we've had any, so this is going to be a treat. Yeah. A little bit much in the first ones, but it'll be okay.
Well,
it'll be okay.
I should have waited and seen what it done, huh? I got in too big a hurry.
That's good. That's good. Well, don't burn your fingers. 420, you better do it the long ways. You're scaring me there.
You don't want me to dump it out?
425 in the oven till they get golden brown.
I hope they get crunchy and come out of there, don't they?
Yeah, we do. Maybe they will. 3 of them come out perfect. The other ones kind of stuck, didn't they?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. These didn't.
Well, you just pan a while though.
No. You want to spread that butter on there?
You sure? You want butter on there?
Yeah, just a little bit.
These here may not be as pretty, but they're going to eat.
You put a lot of lard on there, just
a lot.
But 3 of them done really good though. I mean, the other ones done good. They just kind of stuck on the bottom.
It'll be all right.
Be okay, huh?
Everything's not always just perfect.
Need to cook in this. Need to cook this in this thing a couple times and get it good.
Yeah, it ain't been used. Wow.
Get a good scald on it. So there we are. There's Paul's corn sticks. And these are going to be so good with that gumbo. I can't wait.
Hillbilly gumbo. Boy, it's good too. I tasted it a while ago, see if it needed any more salt. Yummy.
I'll get the rice. These corn sticks are good.
Yeah, they are.
You don't want too much sugar in them either.
They might be better if they didn't have no sugar in them. Let me tell you something. That's larapin. That's fit for a king, right?
We get a good scald on this gumbo.
Mm-hmm.
We don't eat this a lot.
It's so good.
When we do, it's a treat for us. And like I've said, you either like gumbo or you don't. We've got some family that likes it, and we've got some that won't even try it. And everybody makes their gumbo different. And I'll tell you, I've never done it, but I've watched people that make really authentic gumbo. They're in Louisiana, different places. They eat a side of potato salad with it. Have you ever seen that?
Potato salad.
Potato salad. And they say it's good. But I like mine just like this.
I can't believe you put more pepper.
I know. I think with this head cold, I'm not tasting everything really good. But that is so good. Now, you know, there's one thing I forgot to mention too. Right before you serve it, about 3 or 4 minutes, if you're going to put some shrimp in it, put it in right at the end before it's almost done. Throw your shrimp in there, your peeled shrimp, and just let it heat up, let it cook a little bit for just about 3 or 4 minutes, no longer than that, because it'll get rubbery, and then it's done. Are you missing the shrimp?
No. No. That chicken in there is wonderful.
And some people put crab meat too, so.
Sausage. You could put some clean crawdad tails in there.
Yeah. You could.
That's the closest thing I got when I was young to so-called seafood. Was catching them crawdads out of the creek, and I'd take the tail off of them, just have just the crawdad tail, just the meat. And I'd fry them up.
Took a lot of them though, didn't it?
Yeah, but a lot of times it's just me. I'd clean them things up, build me a little fire, and roll them in a little bit of flour, a little bit of cornmeal, and pepper and salt, and fry them up. It's good.
I remember that time that Alice and Jeremy, y'all went and got all them crawdad tails. It took a bunch of them. They wanted to come home and cook them. They didn't realize how many it took just to get a couple bites. I hope y'all like this recipe. Y'all enjoyed watching us cook it. It's just one of them things that we really enjoy eating. Like I said, we don't eat it, but maybe I make it probably 3 or 4 times a year. And I don't know why, but if I made it more than that, it might not be so special to us, would it? And
I believe I could eat it once a week.
It's something I grew up with. My family makes really good gumbo. But
I tell you what, that right there is just delicious, though. I mean, everybody to their own taste, you know, but it's just really good to me.
well, some people just add different things to theirs and different spices, but I love that okra. It's just right. It's not overcooked or it's just right.
It could be a little more slimy.
You like it slimy and you like it spicy.
A little bit. It's got just a hint of heat with that. That sausage has a little bit of heat to it. It's just right.
That is, I think it's called Kavanaugh. Kielbasa. I get it at Walmart.
Kielbasa. It's got a little heat to it.
It does. I'll have the recipe down in the description box below.
mean, you could
If
put,
you've never had gumbo and you like stuff like stews and stuff like that, I think you'd really like it. The hardest part is just getting your roux just right, and once you learn to do that, you got it. You've made a good gumbo if you get that roux right.
if you let that roux, you don't want to get yours too hot, but if you let it just start on the bottom of that pan, just starting to bake on it just a little bit, and then take that wooden spatula and scrape that off, your color will start changing and it'll start turning red. And that's what I did. I just let it.
That stuff that gets on the bottom of the pan is called fond. That's what gives your food so much good flavor when you scrape that stuff off there.
Well, I'd let it fawn up a little. Not too long, didn't want to burn it, but I'd let it fawn up and I'd scrape it off. Turned out really good. And jalapeno cornbread is good too.
Yeah, it is. And you're right. Those jalapenos are pretty mild. They're good. Well, thanks for helping me cook supper. It's good. We got leftovers for tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to take my cousin some.
Yeah. He likes good spicy Cajun food, don't he?
Yeah, he could spice it up a little bit if he wanted to.
He cooks us. He made us. Was it jambalaya he brought that day?
Mm-hmm.
It was really good.
Now, when I went out west prairie dog hunting, them guys like hot food. I thought I was going to go hungry. Not really, but the other 3 guys that was with me, they like it warm.
We love okra. And we're growing okra and it's finally getting us a little bit, but it's not doing as well as it has in the past. Now,
It's going to make quite a bit for winter.
yeah. Now it's a burgundy okra and it's not one of my favorites, but it'll be okay.
You can't let it go too long, it'll get tough.
Yeah. But okra is so good for you. If you'll research it. And we love it fried. We love it in soups, gumbos, and Danny likes it slimy, just boiled up.
I do.
With salad.
I don't get that very often. You don't like it.
Well, I mean, I make it for you, though.
I know.
Anyways.
A little bit of boiled okra.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
I done about ate a bowl.
I know. Are you fixing to get up and get some more cornbread?
I'm going to get another cornbread and put a little bit of more of that in there and call it good.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see y'all in a few days.
I hope y'all doing good.
I hope everybody's doing well. And
We're kicking. She's fighting a bad head cold.
I'm okay.
She's fine.
It just seems like I've had this rhinovirus 3 or 4 times this year already. And I don't want it no more. But, yes, I do take care of myself and I do take vitamins, but I take medication that kind of...
Works against your immune system.
It works against my immune system. So, I think that's why I've been catching stuff so easy lately. But I am doing good. Kidney stone gone, hopefully. And
We're just wondering what's next. Ain't we?
what's next? You know, we're getting older. But no, we're doing good. And I hope you are doing good. So thanks for joining us for supper. We'll see you in a few days. Don't know what we'll be doing.
But
We'll be doing something. If it's nothing but just sitting around talking to you.
We're going to be doing something, ain't we?
Waking up, it's gone. It leaves us feeling cold again. Picking up the stones our hands were made to feel. And moments like these, they show us what we've got when we ain't got a thing. We've got us. We've got us. We've got us.